Check out the snowman, too, by the way, right here on WQEE. Let's bring him in, the snowman, Brian Snow. I salute you, sir. Vikings,
I salute
Rams.
you, sir. Yep.
Vikings, Rams on a Thursday night. I thought these Thursday games were supposed to suck. That's not a bad matchup in my mind. What do you think?
The Rams are frauds. No Aaron Donald. You don't know which Matthew Stafford you're going to get. No Cooper Kupp. No Puka Nacua. If they had all their weapons, it would be a good matchup. Difference being, for Sam Darnold and the Vikings, he has weapons, lots of them. And he knows he is learning, I should say, how to use them correctly. And you got Kevin McConnell, who is very familiar with Sam Darnold, and Darnold's very familiar with the offense. So you have this matchup tonight.
Vikings favored by 3. I just love the way you say frauds. The last time you were on, you said somebody else was frauds, and in history showed I think you were right, because you're always right, Snowman. But here's what I like about the game. These two teams haven't played since 2021, and historically, Rams or Vikings fans that are watching could correct me on this, but I think the Rams have won like 5 of the last 6, 11 of the last 12. This is the chance for the Vikings to go in and be that skinny little nerd on the beach that bulked up and get to come back and beat the hell out of them. Literally, maybe on the beach. You know what I mean? It's payback time tonight, basically.
I think it is payback time for the Minnesota Vikings. And one of my favorite play-by-play announcers is that of Paul Allen, the longtime voice of the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's going to have the ball calling this game tonight because I think the Vikings are going to go into Inglewood and run them over.
PA on the mic. You know, I was listening to an interview with him recently. He was on with Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. I don't know how you are on Mike Florio. But PA said, I don't know, maybe you knew this, maybe you don't. I mean, I'm new to this NFL thing. All his iconic play-by-play calls, when the NFL uses them on their videos or NFL radio, he gets a check. He wasn't bragging or anything. He's just saying, they send me a check for my touchdown calls. Did you know that they did that?
Well, why not? His calls are very iconic, and the NFL are using them a lot more now. And that all started in 2003 with the Vikings being eliminated from the playoffs by the Arizona Cardinals. I first learned of Paul Allen in 2006 when he did the game against the Chicago Bears, and the highlights were his voice. Then I got to studying him, and now he's one of my all-time favorites. I love PA.
Was that not the game where he was like, no?
2003, yeah. Yes. That was the one.
The Cardinals have just
the Cardinals are eliminated.
Playoffs.
Yes, that's the one.
You know what that says, Snowman? We old. And before I get to the viewer comments here, which, by the way, growing old is a gift. I say it here every day. But that was a long time ago. Cooper Kupp is on the block, they say. What is your read on that situation? Like the LA Rams, since winning the Super Bowl, have become a garage sale, a flea market, a yard sale. That's what they are. What are your thoughts on Cooper Kupp being dealt?
Well, the yard sale began with Andrew Whitworth retiring after the Super Bowl. A few years later, Aaron Donald retires. They had to get a new receiver in Puka Nacua. He sets a record and now becomes wide receiver 1. And who is left out of all this? It's Cooper Kupp, who was wide receiver 1 when they drafted him out of Eastern Washington. And he hasn't been the same since that Super Bowl year. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's on the block. In fact, this Rams team, after, in essence, buying a Super Bowl in 2021, are going to sell off every piece, including 36-year-old Matthew Stafford, and they're going to try to build this thing, quote unquote, the right way. Problem is, you're already in history as a Super Bowl champion, so there's nowhere to go for the Rams, and we're seeing it, but down.
Do you think they legitimately care, though? I mean, that in the football world, they did it with credit card money. They loaded up their credit card, and now the Bills do. But they would do it again. McVay hasn't been fired. The GM hasn't been fired. Nobody's been fired. It was a gamble that paid off, right?
And that's why they got extended life. It was a gamble that paid off. They went on an all-in push in 2021, nearly lost it in the NFC Championship game, but they rescued that game. They rescued the Super Bowl, and the bonus for the Rams for that year, they were in their own house. They were in SoFi Stadium, so a lot of those fans were pro-Rams anyway. So they got two bonuses. They got to the Super Bowl and won it, and they hosted it in their house.
I was there. I mean, that's the thing. You can call them frauds. Everybody is, but they would do it again. So they don't care what I think or you think or what anybody thinks. They got the rings. But, you know, it's interesting with these, speaking of yard sales, Davante Adams, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp eventually, because the trade deadline isn't until November 5th. Bomber Boy writes in and he says, Snowman, will Max Crosby finish the season as a Raider?
No. I'll give you two reasons why. One, he wants out. And two, do not be surprised, and thanks to my lovely daughter Cheyenne for this gift, do not be surprised if these guys place a call for Max Crosby.
Yeah, the Niners are coming off the mat, aren't they?
The Niners are hurt. They are beat up. They are hurt in key positions. And if you think about it, 2 years ago, they were hurting after dropping to 3-4, and they needed some help in the running back position. So what do they do at the 11th hour? They snatch Christian McCaffrey. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 49ers do it not once, but at least twice on this trading deadline.
Here's one that I had not planned to ask you, and it's going to be my last one because we're going to have to go to break here. But how do you feel about Davante Adams saying in New York that he just wanted out of Vegas because he didn't feel they were ever going to win?
Well,
what are your
he
thoughts
would know.
on that? Well, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
he would know.
I'm just saying. You want to be.
He would get the.
It's one thing.
He would get the feeling.
Yeah, to point out. You're pointing out the problem instead of being part of the solution. That's what I thought when I first heard that. You don't want to be part of the solution here? That's not that admirable to me. But sorry. Go ahead.
He doesn't want to be part of the solution. I mean, I think he figured it out as soon as he got to Vegas because he thought at the time he would be playing with his buddy Derek Carr. And that didn't last as Derek Carr was jettisoned to New Orleans. Now, when he stayed in Vegas and Derek Carr was jettisoned to New Orleans, now he's thinking, who's going to throw to me? How can I have an effect on this team? And truthfully, he did not have an effect on the team. So off he goes to the Jets to try, and I capitalize the word try, and reunite with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is limping. So don't be surprised if there's a third move for Jamal Adams.
Okay. Well, it's just funny. You want to leave Vegas because they're dysfunctional, and your reward is going to the Jets.
Or even more dysfunctional.
Exactly. Okay, Snowman, we do got to run, but thanks for this, brother. Enjoy the games, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Rod. I love you very much. Love the squad. Thanks for having me.
Love you too, pal. And there you are, a little cross promo from the Snowman and the RP Show.